Blockers Offensive Line Academy. Today we're going to be looking at defensive fronts and how we go about identifying the defensive fronts. For me, for my players, what we look at is we have the centers do all of our identifications. However, the guards need to know them as well, as we do a lot of shotgun plays. And if the center happens to have his head between his legs and there's some shifting and so forth, then the guards need to be able to make some of those calls so that everybody knows and everybody's on the same page. So the way we go about teaching our guys to identify defensive fronts. So what we tell the centers to do is they come up to the line of scrimmage, and they look. So are they uncovered? So for this example here, yes, the center is uncovered. Next, they look at both of their guards. Are their guards covered or are they uncovered? For this example, the guards are both covered. The next thing they do is they look and say, is there a linebacker from A gap to A gap? So if the guards, such as in this picture, if the one or both of the guards are covered, and then when they look A gap to A gap, there's no linebacker in that area, it's what we call as an even front. Some people use different terms and so forth, but that's just the terminology that we went with for where I played and where I coach. So once again, the center comes to the line. They look, is my guards covered or uncovered? Do I have a linebacker from A gap to A gap? If not, if my guards are covered and there's no linebacker from A gap to A gap, I have an even front. Next, if I come up as a center, this right here, I got a shade. Well, more of a one technique than a shade here. I come up, I look at my guards are covered. I look from A gap to A gap, do I have a linebacker? Yes, I do. For us, we call that a middle front. So once again, the center comes to the line. First thing he does is look to see, is there a defensive tackle on either of my guards? If there is, then they know it's either going to be even or it's going to be middle. Then they look up for the linebacker. Is there a linebacker from A gap to A gap? In this case, yes there is, so I know it is a middle front. Next I come up and I look. Does my guards have anybody on them? Both of my guards are uncovered. I have a defender on me. Then I look A gap to A gap. Is there linebackers is there a linebacker from A gap to A gap? In this case, no. The linebackers are outside. So then for what we called that in our system, we called that an Okie. All right, some people would just call it a nod. When I played for West Virginia, we just called it a nod. When I went into the coaching ranks for the system I went into, they called it an Okie. So the center comes up. My guards are uncovered. There's a defender on me. Where's my backers at? Backers are outside of the A gaps. It's an Okie front. Next, defensive front here. Center comes up. He looks to his guards. Neither guard has a defensive lineman there. He sees that he has a defensive lineman on him, which that really doesn't matter. The big thing is his guards covered or uncovered? Then he looks up and he sees a linebacker this time between A gap to A gap. So then we call that a stack. When I was at West Virginia, we called that an odd stack. So you have a stack look. All right, so no guard is covered. Backers between A gap to A gap. We have a stack defensive front. The next one I come up, both guards are covered, and I'm covered as the center. So this is a bear front where all 5 linemen are covered. So center comes up, looks to his right guard, he sees that he has someone on him, looks to his left guard, sees he has someone on him, looks up, sees that he has a guy head up on him. That is a bear front. So those are our base front calls that we used when I was at West Virginia, and then also when I went to the coaching ranks for our centers to go about identifying the different fronts. Why does it matter about the centers identifying the fronts? That helps establish, especially when you're looking at the zone spread game, who everybody is blocking. So with that, when that center comes up and makes that call, and now you know I have an even front. So let's say, for example, we're going to run a 37 here on this play. So when the center comes up and says even, now they know that they are going to be doing an ace U for that 37 block. Okay. They also know now on this backside that I have a slip that I get to work. And once again, with that slip, I get to help out here a little bit on that defensive lineman before I work my way up to this backer. Versus if I go to that middle front, okay, and let's say we're running 37 here, the play side guard and center now know we have an ace U to that backer, but also now we know that we're going to have a shoot call here on this backside. So with that one technique, that guy will probably fight with that guard coming out, so the guard will take him, and that right tackle has to get all the way to this middle backer. So by that identification of that defensive front, that helps us understand exactly where our combination blocks are and where we're going. So for example, once again, if we're going 37 here, I know that when the center says it's an Okie front, I know this backer is who I'm working to if I'm this left guard. So I know I got time to take that good lateral step, give it a nice good hit here as I work my way up. The other beauty is I know on this scoop back call that I have, I got time as a center to spin on this down nose, and we can really drive him back as I come off for that backer. Compared to if we're here at a stack, I know as a guard, I got to get going a little bit more. Once again, we're running that 37 outside zone. I know I really got to get going to get to the outside of that backer. Also, as this center, I know I don't have much time. I'm just kind of jacking that guy up there real quick for that guard to get underneath, and I got to get off to get to this outside back or the inside backer on the outside. And then as that backside tackle, I know I got to get going to get this backer over here. So that's where all of the calls really matter and really help people understand what they have, especially looking at this bear front here. Okay, so we come up and we're running our 37 here on this bear front. Left tackle, outside breast to armpit. Left guard, outside breast to armpit. All right, center has got to go and get this play side backer, as this guard has got to get under that nose, and this right tackle has got to get underneath of that defensive tackle. So when you're running that 37. So, you know, when I come up to the line and I'm a tackle and I hear it's going away from me and I hear that 37 called, I'm like, oh man, or I'm sorry, I hear bear and I know the call is 37. I know, oh man, I got to really take off and get up underneath of this defensive tackle. Versus if it was one of the other plays where I have more time based off of that defensive front. So it's very important for your centers to understand the front calls and be able to make those front calls. And once again, these are some of our bare basics front calls we're looking at here, beginner level, not really looking at unders and overs and going through all of that. But it's very important for your centers to have that basic understanding so that, one, they're making the calls on the field, two, when they come to the sideline after a series and you're drawing stuff up on the whiteboard. And I know nowadays, a lot of sidelines have iPads and everything with the film, so it makes it even easier. But if you don't have that luxury and you're still drawing on the whiteboard, you're able to ask your players, what kind of front did you have when we ran that outside zone, or what did you have when we ran that option? And to be able to get that and be able to go through and set what that front looks like on that board, to go through and point out who made a mistake, who messed up on their block, what area they need to make an adjustment, so that they're able to make sure that next time they go back out for that next series, that they're able to be successful with that series. So it's very important. And for me, like I said, I always have my centers making the calls, but my guards have to know them all as well, because you could come and you have this bear look when you come to the line and the center calls bear and everybody on the offensive line goes through and makes their calls, and then all of a sudden, right before the snap of the ball, this guy goes here, this guy shifts, and now I got an even front. So I got to be able to have my guard to be able to start yelling out even, because once again, now that really changes up on how we make all of our blocks. And then we're able to help out in some different areas to call some different seams for our running backs as they're making those reads. So outside zone left, there's read 1, there's read 2. So if they see that guy's outside, they come to read two. They see him outside, they know they got to bend it back, and they know they got a much better chance on this nice seam right here because now that they had shifted how they're going with their blocking scheme up to that outside backer. So that's where it becomes very important for your guards to also know these calls, to be able to change those as there's some movement and things going on right before the snap of the ball. Once again, Blockers Offensive Line Academy, where we cover everything offensive line. Please, if you would, go down, hit the thumbs up button. Please subscribe to our channel. We're really trying to increase our number of subscriptions and really spread the love and education along the offensive line position that is very underlooked at times. And everybody thinks about the running backs and quarterbacks and receivers. And we're focused on offensive line and feel offensive line need to get their due respect and the attention they need, and that's what we're trying to do and get that information out there so younger and younger offensive linemen and their families can learn about the game, and so that we can advance the position overall. So thank you so much. Please subscribe, and we will see you later.